Hello, I am Jyoti Sharma. Overall, agriculture suffers 26% of the damage and loss caused by climate-related disaster in developing countries. Can you eat worms and make them a part of human consumption on a large scale? It is a question that is capable of changing the entire dynamism of ecosystem. The most commonly eaten worms around the world are sago worms and mealworms. People who have already consumed these worms describe them as nutty and creamy. It is no surprise that worms are eaten all throughout the world. According to some of the research and data present online, the answer is a big yes. Worms can be eaten either raw or cooked, depending on your preferences. Around the world, in southern Venezuela, the Yucuana, people gather worms from the mud around the stream or dig them from the floor of a highland forest. These worms are then gutted, boiled and eaten. Similarly, the Maori people of New Zealand eat earthworms. Even in the Fujian and Guangdong provinces of China, earthworms are a delicacy. US, Mexico, Brazil, China, Ghana and Thailand are some of the countries where people consume insects on a considerable scale. Why worms? Worms offer protein, calcium, iron and essential amino acid which can help break down food and repair body tissues. Many worm species are eaten in various cultures around the world. Worms hold their own in terms of providing a sustainable source of protein and important vitamins and minerals. Earthworm offers around 54.6% crude proteins compared to milk and egg. Online stores such as Thailand Unique sell dried earthworms and insects specifically for human consumption. Let's know about health impact, lifestyle impact, impact on environment and animals. Earthworm plays an important role in our ecosystem as they do not only make soil more nutrient but also improve soil structure by leaving space for water be drained away from the surface and provide food for the predators. Not all worms are harmful if eaten the right way. There are approximately 57 million worms around the world and the number continues to grow with over 1 million different species. They provide a crucial protein-rich source of food for their important species like birds and frogs in the food chain. According to the research, soil without earthworms can be 95% less effective at soaking up water, which eventually means that chances of soil erosion and flooding are increased, affecting not only agriculture but the entire ecosystem. Just in case you wonder, these worms survive on a dead plant, fallen leaves, fungi, bacteria and even dead animals. The next question arises, what role does worm eating play as we face the climate emergency? The existence of worms in the environment affects how much carbon dioxide is produced in the soil and how much of it escapes. According to the scientists, earthworms increase greenhouse gas emissions and that is the cause of concern as earthworm numbers are rising. Research warns worm populations are set to boom in the next few decades, thus eating worms can prove to be a positive decision. In this study, published in Nature Climate Change, researchers say that worms can increase emissions of one greenhouse gas while reducing emission of the other. Land availability is the most important aspect when it comes to feeding the world population, and if India enters into the worms production business, then it would be a very easy. If you look at the productivity and storage aspect of it, then it requires much less land than chickens and cattle. We can say that worms eating could be considered as the most sustainable alternative to milk, chicken, pork and beef. Slowing down the expansion of agricultural land is an important step towards sustainable agriculture. The increasing world population will therefore need to be fed using the same area of land that is available now. As science and new technologies are coming with more advancement, the productivity of chickens and pigs has increased annually by 2.3%. Processing and storage have a large effect on the environment impact of a food product. For worms, there is currently no standard method for processing and storing as humans are still not ready to consume them on a large scale. Many international companies are selling insect products for human consumption, from protein bars, insect powder, snacks pasta to insect-infused beer, bitters, smoothies and burgers. They have it all. There are many online stores operating for this purpose. Though the same cannot be said for worms on a large scale, there are some of them. According to NAEC, eating insects have become a trend in North America. Cricket powder is actually a superfood high in complete protein with all essential amino acid, high in calcium, iron, omega-3 and B12 vitamin. Is this a new step towards sustainability? Grow your own worms. People are moving towards vegan foods, plant-based products, egg, dairy, seafood. So we can say that worm eating also has a future. While worms, which comes directly from the soil and the environment, carry parasites and germs that can be harmful. You can also raise your own worms and feed them pest-free food that can help keep them clean, parasite-free and safe to eat. So now let's know about the conclusion and side effect of worms. Eating certain edible worms in the right way has no side effects, but before you try to eat worms, make sure you do some research so that you know what kind of worm you are eating and what are its benefits or side effects. Avoid picking up outside worms and eating them. There is a proper way to go about preparing them if you want to consume them. It is suggested by some of the soak them in hot water before eating them because it removes unhealthy substances carried by the worms. On a side note, do not make mistake insect eating as worm eating, worm as they are totally different from each other. If you want another video that's tell you about the future of insect eating, do you think there is a future for worm eating in India? This is all for this topic. Let's meet on our next video. Thank you so much.